What internet marketing expert should you spend your valuable time listening to? Listen to someone who has over 20 years of web marketing experience and hundreds of website marketing success stories. That man is Aaron Sparks from Site Strategics. And this is Edge of the Web Radio.
Would you like some insights into how Best Buy, Home Depot, AT&T, and Verizon handled their social media relationships? Well, it is our sincere privilege to have an exclusive guest on Edge of the Web Radio's phone line right now. We're joined by Katy Keim, Chief Marketing Officer of online marketing powerhouse Lithium. Their website is lithium.com. Trying to describe how accomplished she is would take too long, so here's a short and sweet bio. And why you need to stay tuned on this show for not only this segment, the second segment coming up. In her previous position, she had an integral role in growing Service Source from $7 million to $100 million in revenue. The team she led was responsible for equipping 100-plus sales force with lead generation programs, product marketing, and much more, while training corporate partners such as IBM, Sun, and Oracle, over 50 of those companies. Well, enough said. Katy, thank you so much for taking time with us today. I appreciate it.
Katy, you have your accomplishments are too long for the radio.
Glad to be here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Lithium is a Fortune 500 social engagement software platform that integrates into websites to build brand advocacy, drive sales, and reduce costs. Can you give us a description of what Lithium really does?
Sure. So when we talk with customers, we say to them that we make software, and we make software that powers what we call the social customer experience. Now, that may sound like a set of terms, but we identify that there are customers that spend almost 30 hours a week online, and a quarter of that is spent engaging in social networks, engaging with brands they love, et cetera. So this dynamic of the customer has changed. And as brands think about how to engage that customer, they need to be thinking about how to infuse their website, how to be infusing their marketing efforts, their support efforts, with ways to attract and retain this new social customer. And that's what our software is focused on.
Yeah, I'd love hearing that. We were just talking to a company yesterday, and they were asking us for advice on an email program, and so we were talking about, what happens when people click off the email and get back to the website, and we started talking about social media, and one of the bosses chimed in. He goes, I thought we were talking about email. So I love that. I love that focus that, no, it's not just that. It's the entire ecosystem and how it's building on all of the different aspects of it.
That's a great concept of social ecosystem.
The challenge is, it's interesting. I actually call it the corporate eye roll with social right now. I mean, there's been such a fury, and we can't turn a page in the newspaper or our iPad or anywhere and start, being barraged by this conversation about social. But what I think is interesting is if you were to take kind of what's spent globally in the world on marketing and advertising, it's something like $506 billion. Okay, that's what it was in 2012. And yet, about 3% of that is spent on social initiatives. And that's pretty shocking when you think about the fact of how much time our consumers
absolutely
spend
it's completely unbalanced,
and how they want
it?
to engage and how they're frustrated by advertising. I mean, Nielsen will tell you that 14% of customers trust advertising, and yet we persist in spending so much money on email, advertising, outbound messaging, and that's not what our customers want.
They want interaction.
So they want to interact. They want to engage. And so as a marketer, I often joke that it's like if you're the CMO of Kraft Foods or take any brand, let's say in your audience, someone's ripped up your marketing playbook, but it's not yet clear what the alternative is. We're still learning. We're still experimenting. So I think it's an exciting and potentially a pretty frustrating time for marketers.
And Katy, do you find that as Lithium helps your customers actually build these communities that in addition to, a lot of the other benefits you see, especially from a service and support perspective, do you see that it's also helping those customers accrue some real marketing benefits without actually marketing?
Definitely. And here's, I guess, the way that we think about it is that certainly in the retail sector, I would say, where we've seen a real uptake is that brands are trying to figure out how to bring together the conversation and content with conversion, right, to commerce.
Absolutely.
And I know we've had some conversations in the past about social commerce. And so, of course, there's an ultimate goal of converting and driving revenue. But our path there is not the linear funnel that it once was. Customers are going to ask other customers for their advice in the forms of ratings and reviews. Customers are going to seek out opinions. They're going to test and evaluate. And the content and the conversation helps accelerate that. So our communities are there to do a few things. One is make sure that engaged conversation is happening, but more importantly, convert to revenue over time and build the advocates that are going to convert more and others on your behalf. So it's old-time word-of-mouth marketing. It's just got a better velocity and a better tracking in this day and age of social technology.
I like that word velocity because it is leaping and going by leaps and bounds right now, and you have to be able to get in front of it. And something interesting that we just wanted to bring to your attention about the Super Bowl, and whenever companies jumped into that blackout period, especially Oreo, there was a great ad.
That was the corporate eye roll. Marty gave the corporate eye roll.
He did. He did.
Oh, I love the Oreo ad.
Wasn't that
You know, it's really
fantastic?
funny. So you guys got me at a timely place because I actually ran a little research project with my 10-year-old, and there were we tracked 59 ads at the Super Bowl. Now, what was interesting is only 15% of them didn't have a digital call to action, which is like shame on you guys.
Right.
Come on, we live in a two-screen world. 41% of them had hashtags. Twitter was the clear winner.
Yeah.
And they tend to have a conversation about pick your team, epic play date, not around the brand, but around a theme. And then the other thing that I thought was great and bodes very well for communities is 41% of the ads drove back to domain.
Mm-hmm.
And that's clearly a perspective Lithium shares, that we believe in Twitter, we believe in Facebook, we love all those networks, but we're strongly encouraging brands to build that digital presence on their site that they can control and fuel and engage and convert right there at the cart. So the Super Bowl ads were just a great micro slice of what's going on.
It really was.
Lot of confusion, no real clear best practices, although they're emerging.
And did you? This is Doug. I was with specific to the Oreo ad, just because it's cool. As I looked at it, in that Oreo did a great job in that for the price of a designer to design a little ad, they hijacked the Super Bowl, and honestly, right?
They really did. Yeah.
They didn't have to pay.
Absolutely.
They didn't have to pay $3.8 million. And what Marty and I were talking about was, well, did they sell more cookies with that? Mm-hmm. And I think a part of the overall ongoing strategy, yes, I think that they do. Mm-hmm. Maybe not. People didn't jump in their cars and drive off to.
They didn't drive into the library,
buy some
right?
Double stuff.
A double stuff package did actually end up on my pantry just a day ago. I don't know how it happened. I'm blaming the ad itself.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Well, I agree. And CPG, to be fair, it's always hard to go all the way from the advertisement to the scan data.
Yeah,
so
it's a different model.
Let's not tag social with that, right? Like they run the best that they can do in terms of correlation is probably promotion, couponing, et cetera. So they're in it for the long range to build their reputation. And I think it was a brilliant example of what I saw it coined as is agile marketing, which is the conversation is going to go somewhere that you don't know, and it's just clever. I mean, it was just, it's hard not to make, to not smile about it. It's like someone somewhere is just very clever, and you want to give them kudos for that.
Yeah. Well,
That being said, that's not sustainable unless you've got, 12 clever creatives watching every tweet in the world.
Right.
And so what we would argue is, definite win for them, but how do you get that content engine on a flywheel basis all the time? And one of the things that we see, if you take like a Sephora, for example, who's a customer of ours, these women, thousands of women are online talking about beauty and the products they love, 33 hours a month. The most active people in the community spend 33 hours a month talking about Sephora offerings and products. Wow. And if you type into Google, and you guys are probably at your laptop, and how do I do a smoky eye, the first organic search result that will come up is Sephora. So
I am so doing that tonight.
Okay, so you don't need a team of 22 content experts. your community is going to start generating this long-tail content that is rich and replenished and current, which is going to, drive ahead SEO rankings, which is just a benefit and a goodness that accelerates marketing in a way that, anyone who's out spending money on search understands, right?
Absolutely. An important distinction is it doesn't have to be global, doesn't have to be huge volume. You can capitalize on the same things in a niche environment as well, because people are listening as much, if not more sometimes, into these niche channels, and be able to grab a hold of an event from this agile perspective, but also be able to inject on a regular basis that interaction. That's really what your tools also used for as well.